Summer is maybe technically almost over, but
getting close.
This is the busiest time of the year for Sports Frenzy 2.0.
Almost everything is going on.
Yep, we're getting close to the start of NBA and the NHL, but we have got football kicking off. Well, technically has already kicked off in week 0. You know how much we love week 0. But we have definitely got legitimate college football coming up this weekend. We will have our week 1 picks, our season predictions in segment 2. We have got the NASCAR playoffs starting off. That will dominate segment 1. We've still got baseball in the stretch run for the playoffs going into the last month. It's just crazy, kids. Crazy, nutsy, cuckoo. Fantasy football starting up officially next Thursday night with the NFL kickoff game with the Lions and the Chiefs. He's the conquistador, Dave Height.
He's the maestro, Kevin Crane. Wow. All right, NASCAR.
Yep.
Start off.
Taping
season.
here August the 30th, 2023. This will hit the last day of August, the 31st. Yes, we're going to break our little rule. Usually we'd just be doing football, but right now, the NASCAR playoffs starting up takes a little bit more precedence, so we're going to start off with that.
Yep. So Sunday, we just had the regular season finale at Daytona with the 400 down there. Of course, mass chaos ensued, as expected, on a super speedway.
Yes, and for our competition, we had an unprecedented situation where out of the 8 participants, for the first time ever, half the field did not make the playoffs.
Nope. I was in, and the last 3 weeks punted me out.
And who would have thought the road courses would have done it?
Allmendinger did not show up at Indy. Finished in the 30s. Elliott's idiot crew chief had him down in the 30s at Watkins Glen. And then disaster at Daytona as the second stage comes to a close. My pick, Ryan Blaney's, just got into the lead as stage 2 is just getting ready to end. On the inside lane, outside Christopher Bell punts Ty Gibbs, turns him down into Blaney, cuts him right into the wall, end of the night. 1 flippin' point.
Yeah, it was not fun. It's never fun. These super speedway races, again, I don't like them in terms of playoff races, in terms of being the last race of the regular season. They're too much of a crapshoot.
Yeah.
So again, half of our 8 panelists are not in for the Frenzy Cup playoffs. So interesting situation to say the least.
And the kicker is, all of us who didn't make it have picked winners.
Yep. But again,
we will discuss in other areas.
But as I mentioned,
it was just hard luck.
As I mentioned in my group email, after
we're
what
not
happened,
reactionary,
and you guys wouldn't have made it even in the old system where we took the top 12.
Right.
So that's something to take into account. I think it's just a really, really bad year.
Oh, it was horrible.
So
I should have bailed after the second week like I wanted to. I should have pulled a Statesman.
Who is now on top of the world. Well, not really.
Not really.
Because technically I'm in the lead. But we'll see how that goes. Usually I am not very good at holding leads, as most of my fellow competitors in Sports Frenzy will attest to. So we'll see how it goes. But for now, week 1, going into Darlington, I am the leader because I had the 4 wins versus the elder statesman's 3, even though he had many, many, many more regular season points than me. So that's part of the thing we're looking at tweaking.
Yep. So kind of like how NASCAR kind of rewards a little bit more, we're going to kind of look at doing that. So
yeah, it's more about bringing the successful up than giving up participation trophies.
Exactly.
Oh, I had a bad year. You need to let me pass. You need to give me a pass.
No, it doesn't work that way, kids.
So,
it was just a snake-bit season.
Yeah, it's just a bad season. Bad season. And still, the way things falling out now, 5th place, which could end up being a pretty significant place to finish for the Frenzy Cup in terms of the overall Penta Frenzy Championship,
right,
is up for grabs. So this is
still
this is better than one. This is better. I hate to say it. This is better than one person missing the playoffs.
Yeah, because now we have to be. All of us have to stay engaged.
Right. Because that 5th place, even 6th place, could be the difference between winning the Frenzy Cup or finishing second.
Yep, you could either get the Penta Frenzy or the epic fail.
Yep, and we've still got baseball, fantasy football, and football picks still to be decided. So it's still early.
It ain't over.
Yep. All right, other news. Although we should talk about the fact that
the big wreck,
the 10-time flip for Ryan Preece.
It was like 12. Yeah, Ryan Preece is lucky to have climbed out.
Yeah, I was very worried about that. I was very worried about that when I saw that live. Again, they build these cars for safety now. So good that Ryan Preece survived.
Yeah, that was wild.
I don't know. Do you think it would help if we started pulling the grass out of the infield and just make it concrete so they don't get caught in the grass and flip like this?
Yeah, where he was in the grass and then caught the edge of the concrete,
right,
and then went airborne.
Right. I know it looks pretty. I know it looks nice to have the grass infield, but if that's causing a lot of these problems.
They took all the grass out along the backstretch at Daytona and Talladega, where guys used to get caught up in there and would flip. Maybe it's time in the other spots, too, going into the corners.
Yeah, I mean, is it really worth potentially a racer's life to go, we can paint the Daytona logo or the Coke Zero Sugar 400 logo?
See, now with the energy dissipating, the guys have survived those nasty wild flips over and over. It's the getting hooked in the right rear and shot head on into the outside wall that has caused all the problems. That's what killed Earnhardt. That's what killed Adam Petty and a couple of other guys where they got just turned head on into the wall.
Yeah, and Ryan Blaney's had that problem a couple times this year.
Yeah.
In the infield and now on the outside wall.
Yeah.
At Daytona.
But that outside hit that he took was was the exact same thing that happened to Earnhardt.
Right.
Almost the same spot.
Yep.
So with the Hans device and everything else they've got going on now, that's made it safer, but it was still a hell of a shot.
So the race in and of itself, of course, Dave and I have been talking about the Frenzy Cup, being selfish, talking about our personal competition. The race pole was Chase Briscoe, but the super nuclear red hot Chris Buescher wins his third race in the last month and a half?
Yeah, just an absolute monster run that he's been on. You talk about having the momentum going into the playoffs. Watch out for him.
Yeah, and
they are set.
What kind of points did he pick up over the last 6 weeks? I'm telling you. He went from barely in on points to now in the top 4 or 5 in the standings with the 3 wins.
He is 4th.
Yeah.
So only 15 points behind William Byron.
Now, Byron, I think, and Truex are tied, if I recall.
Yes.
Because Truex got the regular season points title, which gave him the 15 bonus, which we're talking about doing next year for the Frenzy Cup.
Yep, which kind of made up the difference with the over the wins because Byron had 5 wins, Truex 3.
Right. Then the stage wins.
And everything
it all
else,
balanced
all
out.
the playoff points and everything else. So
interesting strategy move going into the playoffs from Joe Gibbs Racing. What does this say about Christopher Bell's pit crew? That they're swapping out Ty Gibbs' pit crew, giving that to Christopher Bell because they feel that gives Bell a better shot at winning the championship.
We've seen teams do this before. For whatever reason, a team that's not quite performing on the track has a better performing pit crew. So maybe that was by design to try and help Ty Gibbs out, to give him a little bit better to overcome his rookie season here, to help him get out quicker. Now it's time. All right, you're out. Bell's in. Let's try and give him the push.
Yeah, not nepotism in any way, shape, or form.
No, not at all.
Gibbs Racing, Ty Gibbs, no, nothing like that. No favoritism whatsoever. I don't even know why this is news. We all knew this was coming. But again, athletes, doesn't matter if it's NASCAR, doesn't matter if it's football, baseball, it is so hard for them to call it quits. But finally, officially, quote unquote, officially, Kurt Busch is now officially retired as a Cup driver.
It just took him too long to come to that decision. It should have been made before this season started.
But again, these athletes, they live for the moment. They live for the adrenaline rush, the juice.
And he's still suffering from concussion symptoms.
Yeah.
So don't expect him in any type of competition in the near future.
Yeah, he's not going to jump into SRX, you would think.
No, he's not. He's not cleared to do anything like that.
Yep.
So,
all right. So now we get to the playoffs. Sunday night, Labor Day weekend, playoff race 1, September the 3rd, 2023. Crown Royal presents Darlington Weekend. What the fuck kind of sponsorship is that?
It's the longest. If you can make your name take 5 frickin' paragraphs, then you win.
Yeah. Crown Royal presents the porta potties at Darlington. Whatever, good for them. But
it's the I know what Indy needs to do.
What?
The Fredericks of Hollywood's pasty snake pit at the Brickyard.
Oh, Lord. I haven't heard Fredericks of Hollywood in such a long time. Ever since I actually wanted to sign up for the catalogs. Just as a way to not have to pay for porn. Oh, my God. All right, we have all 8 picks in. Again, unique situation. So, all 8 picks are in for the Crown Royal freaking weekend, drink your butt off with the velvet wrap around the bottle race at Darlington.
It's the Southern 500. Come on.
I know. You and I know that. All right, I'm going to start off. I don't want to be a segregationist, but I think we'll deal with the top 4 who are competing for the title.
Go in order.
I, as a leader, submitted my pick early. I go with William Byron right off the bat. Get it out of the way. I want him gone. He's run really good at this track the last couple races. I'm fine with using him early. I know I'm going to have a title contender for the final race. Do I think it's going to be him as one of the final 4? Maybe. I'm not 100% convinced there are other drivers who I have more faith in. Let's put it that way. So I'm going to burn Byron right away.
See, that's where the bottom 4, we don't have to worry about a title contender. We just going balls to the wall trying to get max points every week.
And a little interesting fact, whereas the people who made the playoffs reset like NASCAR does for the top 16 based on wins, Now, we only give 3 points per win. Back with our old system, we never changed that. Maybe that's something we need to tweak. But you guys start off with the same points you had at the end of 6.
Exactly. We just
at the
keep
end of
rolling
26
where
races.
we're at.
Yeah. So you don't get points for the wins, but you don't lose any points. You're just back racing where you were before.
Right.
All right. Sam, the man who dominated the regular season in terms of points, he is taking Kevin Harvick. Mrs. C taking Martin Truex Jr. Very good pick. Not ready for that one yet for me personally. And then finally, I would call the dark horse, the outlier among the family, as I like to call the 4 of us. Doug agrees with Sam, and he will go with Kevin Harvick.
All right, there you go.
Now we go to those fighting for 5th place.
Yep. I am going with Martin Truex Jr. Bill's going with Kevin Harvick. Nick is taking Brad Keselowski. And then Aaron with William Byron. So pretty much you've got one outlying pick with Nick going with Mr. Keselowski.
Right. Yep. Everybody else has got others who agree.
So Keselowski, for me, he's running decent, but I still need to see a little bit more.
That's how I feel about Harvick. I know his history at Darlington is really, really good. But
the performance really hasn't been there this year.
Not the dominating performance. So he could end up being okay on points in this race. I know Truex might end up winning this thing. But I'm willing to sacrifice that to save him for later. To save him for later.
Which is something I would normally have done had I been in
year after year,
position.
You and I discussed the strategy for this. And it seems like year after
usually
year
bites us in the ass.
Right, year after year, we try to conserve the better drivers for later on, and it ends up, like you said, gnawing right on our anus. But
because we put ourselves in a deep hole.
Right, and then have to dig ourselves out, and you can't do it. So that's why I'm fine burning Byron, and that's probably going to be fine for Jen with Martin Truex, too.
You're right.
I just would not want to say I'm saving all my good drivers for later. That strategy never seems to work.
No.
Never seems to work.
Trust us, kids. We've done it time and time again, and it has not worked out well.
No, you gotta pick your shot. You gotta find the tracks where you can maybe get a dark horse, maybe get somebody who you wouldn't normally consider, and you have got to save 1 or 2 drivers for that last couple of races who are going to be in contention, because you do not want somebody left who is not fighting for the title. You want one of the 4 fighting for the title.
Typically. Last year, it didn't really matter too much.
True. Now, we reward points, unlike NASCAR. We do give stage points. We don't see the point for our competition in penalizing people for having a good driver left at the end. So we do reward stage points. So for all 3 of you out there who actually care, there you go. All right, moving on to baseball.
Yeah.
We got the good, the bad, and the ugly, basically. The ugly, just after we finished up last week, actually while we were taping, Shohei Ohtani tears his UCL, done pitching for 2023, could be looking at a second Tommy John surgery.
This has major implications for that $500 million contract that was speculated for him.
And then, of course, we've got the whole he said, she said stuff with, he turned down an MRI when he was having finger numbness on August 3rd. Was that a symptom of what was to come? Is he done with Anaheim now? I call them Anaheim still, I know. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, whatever they are. Now they're saying that maybe the market value drops to the point where the Angels can re-sign him.
You never know.
But any way you slice it, he lost a lot of money.
Big time.
Here over this injury.
And we talked about the potential for that happening.
Yep. And he's still going to bat. He's still going to DH.
Fine. But are you going to pay $300 million for
as good of a batter as he is? Yeah. Nobody's paying $300 million for a DH.
No. Not going to happen.
Now, I've heard rumblings that some people speculate there is a crazy owner or two out there who will pull a Kevin Durant, and they will be more than willing to pay him for a year to sit out in order to land
Tommy
him
John surgery
later on down the road. Give him $50 million the first year and just write it off, and then take him for whatever he is, whatever's left from that second year on.
We'll see what happens.
Yep.
One never knows.
Maybe, ironically, the same week that Shohei Ohtani is facing down a second Tommy John surgery, Stephen Strasburg retires.
Yep.
To me, the eternal question is going to be with Stephen Strasburg. Was it worth it for the one championship?
How many millions did they give up to him for one?
That's what I'm saying. Was it worth it? Was it worth it? Top pick, golden boy, always injured. He did stay healthy the 1 year they won the title.
The 1 year he stayed healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But beyond that, if you look beyond that,
he never lived up to the hype.
Like so many other pitchers.
Yeah.
Like so many other big name pitchers. Mark Pryor.
There's a big one.
Arguably
right there.
Kerry Wood. Although Kerry Wood did kind of resuscitate his career a little bit after his surgery. Jason Isringhausen. I mean, you could run down the names of these big stud pitchers that come out of college or high school that these teams draft high and give all this bonus money to, and you just never know what you're going to get.
Right.
You could get a Garrett Cole.
Or you could wind up with Noah Syndergaard, who's just been put on waivers.
Yep. So, of course, more ugly. At Coors Field here a few days ago, two fans run on the field and actually grab MVP candidate from the Braves, Ronald Acuna Jr.
He handled that with a lot of class and poise, giving them the benefit of the doubt. Oh, they just wanted a picture. But still, the stupidity of these idiots. Stay in the stands, you assholes.
I think we need to start tasing these people. Need to start tasing them, putting them down like dogs. Sorry, but you are violating the law.
Yeah, you're trespassing. You risk causing significant injury to a player. It cannot be tolerated in any way.
And of course, this light on crime society we live in now
is a complete joke. Oh, now, dare we talk about the accidental discharge of a firearm at Guaranteed Rate Field during the White Sox game over the weekend?
Accidental discharge is something I usually associate with me when I was younger on a late night, on a Saturday night with the wrong type of girl.
Some big fat tub of goo woman put her gun, tucked it up inside the fat folds of her stomach to bypass the metal detectors.
Oh my God, that's how she got it in?
Yeah. Sitting out in the outfield, she is the one who had the bullet graze to her abdomen because the bullet fired while it was in her fat roll, grazed her stomach and hit the person next to her in the leg.
Oh my God. That's the first time hearing of that.
This just came out last night. the Chicago police finally got to the bottom of it. They unfolded the story. That's just freaking nasty.
They rolled it back.
They rolled it back. That's just disgusting and pathetic.
And, of course, they had to cancel Vanilla Ice because of it.
Yeah, this happened in the 4th inning. And they're like, we're just going to go on with the game. Nobody knew what was going on except everybody who was in that section in the bleachers.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Of course, this happened last Friday night, August the 25th, when we were at the Offspring.
Yep, we get the news out of that.
You need to check out the weekend edition, of course, for our review of the Offspring, along with Sum 41 and Simple Plan live.
Yep, weekend edition is going to be a good one, kids.
Yep. Do you want to tell everybody how the White Sox are doing?
They still suck in 4th, 53 and 81, 16 back. It's a joke. And rumors are heating up around Chicago that the White Sox are going to announce their new GM on the 31st. God. And it sounds like they're going to go in-house with Chris effing Getz. Because why would you look outside the organization to try and turn things around? Yeah, Reinsdorf's a frickin' moron. He's got La Russa in his ear now instead of Kenny Williams. Why would you try and do something to bring your team into this day and age of baseball? Just be horrendous. Getz came in 2017 to be director of player development, overseeing the farm system. When he came in, they had the number 1 farm system after all the trades and everything they got. Last year, they were ranked 30th. Now they rebound to 20 after the trades Rick Hahn just made to bolster the farm system back up. Getz has done nothing to improve anything. This is what you get with Reinsdorf. The old, washed up, out of touch, senile owner that they have.
I'm sorry. I feel almost bad talking about the success of the Cubs, as the Cubs are 71 and 62 coming off today, taking 2 out of 3 from the division-leading Milwaukee Brewers. The pitching staff has stepped up. Kyle Hendricks today, 0 earned runs. Justin Steele yesterday, 0 runs. The debut over the weekend of highly touted prospect Jordan Wicks looked really rough Saturday night. Looked really rough. I was scared to death because he let up a home run, lead off against the Pirates, and then a solid single up the middle. I'm like, oh boy, here we go again.
I listened to an interview with the Cubs pitching coach,
Tommy Hotovey.
He said he made the mound visit and had his full attention. And he was really impressed with him in his press conference when he basically said word for word what he was told at that mound visit. And he did it. He buckled down and rattled off 15 straight outs?
Yep. Those 2 first hits that had people like me scared to death, no worries after that. No worries at all.
Yeah, he just had to get settled down, refocused.
Got his wins his first start. Good to see, considering the fact that, as usual, you can't rely on Marcus Stroman. And thank God we're hearing from the Cubs camp that they will not attempt to re-sign him. Let him go.
There you go.
Let him go.
If
You're
he opts
fine.
out, he opts out.
Let him go. You're fine. Still could deal with getting rid of Jameson Taillon, but beyond that, we're still fine.
You're still fine.
So again, 71 and 62, second place in the NL Central. Solidly in that second slot when it comes to the 3 wild cards. 3 games right now behind the aforementioned Brewers. But Segment 2 is where all the action is happening. College football week 1, picks, predictions. Dave and I will be right back.
This episode of Sports Frenzy 2.0 is brought to you by the Bills Mafia Marital Aid Company, because when you are down and out, we'll bring you back up and in the game. Sports Frenzy 2.0 on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Breaker, Apple, Overcast, Castbox, and Stitcher. All right, kids, August has come and gone. It's the 30th as we tape here Wednesday, dropping Thursday the 31st. I'm the Conquistador Dave Height.
And I'm the maestro, Kevin Crane.
And segment 2, it's Talkin' Football on Spotify, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Amazon, Audible, iHeartRadio, Apple, Overcast, and Castbox. God, I got to figure out a way to make this flow.
Yeah, Stitcher officially shut down yesterday as we tape.
So there we go, kids. Don't forget to check out the Facebook page. All of our picks will be on there.
Yes, not only have we been doing baseball picks all through the summer, NASCAR picks, but now adding into the fray, football picks.
Woohoo!
Starting off with this weekend. We do not count Week 0, as Dave mentioned so eloquently last weekend.
That's
Week
right.
0 is crap. So now we officially start the college football season. Still not the greatest slate in the world.
No.
Still got big teams playing cupcakes.
We'll eventually get there, but we also have our predictions for the Final Four and the college football playoff champion.
So, let's start off with Thursday.
7 of the 8 of us are in.
That's tomorrow night.
Yes.
As we tape. So, we start off with a big one. In Utah, Florida. Taking on number 14 Utah. Now, word just broke today that Utah's starting quarterback is out for the game.
Ugh.
I debated whether that would be enough for me to change my pick. Number one, I don't have a lot of faith in Florida right now. I haven't seen them really step up over the past 4 or 5 years.
No, there's nothing there to lead you believe that's going to make a difference.
From what I'm hearing, Utah, they're going to use a mix of 2 different quarterbacks.
Keep them off balance?
Yes, exactly. And the younger one, the freshman, is supposed to be really dynamic. He's a track superstar, I guess. So he's going to be running more of the option, while the other one is more of a drop-back passer. I'm hoping and praying that's going to be enough to keep Florida off balance. So I will stick with the Utes to win in home territory against the Florida Gators.
Yep, and of the 7 in, everybody agrees except for Nick, who's going with the Gators on the road.
Could be a prime upset pick.
Could be with that.
Yep.
Then we move on. Nebraska at Minnesota. How do we have love for Nebraska?
Matt Rule.
On the road in his first game? Seriously?
But it's not like he hasn't coached college football before.
I know, but still. It's Nebraska.
I flirted with taking Nebraska in this, but I'm with you. I'm like, you got to give Matt Rule a little bit of time. Even in this impatient world we live in, this impatient sports world we live in.
Yeah.
I will stick with Minnesota. Even though I think an upset would not shock me.
It wouldn't shock me, but when in doubt, go with the home team.
Yep, so everybody of the 7 picks in except for Nick and Doug, who are taking the Huskers. Everybody else goes with the Gophers.
Yep.
I'm all right.
No, nobody worry about me.
You work in a Caddyshack reference whenever you can, people. Friday night, September the 1st, an ACC middling rivalry. Louisville at Georgia Tech. Now, see, Georgia Tech's another team that has not impressed me over the years.
They have been nothing in, the last 35 to 40 years?
Well, they've had moments. They've had spots where they've been better.
They used to be,
a little extreme.
They used to be more of a powerhouse.
Right.
And they have fizzled.
Yeah, and they do have a regime change, but we don't buy it.
No, Louisville across the board. All right, running into Saturday. Fresno State crosses the country to Purdue.
I knew you were going to say that because you always focus on that. You always focus on the travel. And you can't anymore because now cats and dogs living together. USC is going to be traveling across country to Rutgers. They're going to have to get over it at some point.
At some point. But still, it usually makes a difference.
I am going out on the upset limb here. While the rest of you stay in Indiana with the home team.
I flirted with taking Fresno State.
I am taking Fresno. I want Fresno State for the upset.
I would not be surprised if they do.
The love affair with Purdue.
It's their first home game.
The love affair with Purdue.
It's their first home game.
I don't care. It's not like Notre Dame's first home game against who are they playing? Tennessee State. Oh, there's a juggernaut for you. And they're trying to spin this like, well, this is the first time Notre Dame's ever played a historically black college. Whoop-de-freaking-do. What does that mean? They're going to take it easy on them and only beat them by 50 instead of 60 to show they're socially conscious? My ass! The best team wins. I don't care if it's the first game at home, the last game at home, homecoming. I don't care. Fresno State's a better team.
We'll see. I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't trust them.
Now this one. This
is an intriguing matchup.
This one has got upset written all over it, and I have got some people with me on this one.
This was a coin flip game. I literally flipped a coin.
Number 21, North Carolina. Now, technically, it's a neutral site game. It is in Charlotte, I believe. That sounds like a home game for North Carolina to me. But for some reason, they're listing it as a home game for South Carolina, which is bullshit. South Carolina ended last year on a high note. They played very, very good football at the end of the year. While North Carolina with Mac Brown, you don't know what you're going to get. I keep hearing their quarterback is going to be a top pick in the NFL draft next year. Where have we heard that before? Not buying it. I'm done with North Carolina. Done with them. Wait till basketball season, Tar Heels fans. The Cocks will rule. South Carolina for the Maestro.
This was a heads South Carolina, tails North Carolina, and tails came up on the quarter. Going with the Tar Heels.
You got the Tar Heels. Sam takes the Tar Heels.
Bill's riding the cock with you.
Yep. Oh, thanks a lot.
Along with Aaron.
That sounded wonderful. A triple cock ride. Whereas Nick and Doug go with the Tar Heels. So right now, 4-3. 4-3 split. Very interesting.
Yep.
Now, the big game of the weekend, Sunday night, September the 3rd, of course, before the big boys in the NFL take over Sundays. Brian Kelly, number 5 LSU at number 8 Florida State. Now, I have heard that LSU is going to be missing one of their top running backs.
I don't see that as an obstacle.
I agree. I
don't see how Florida State is up in the top 10.
Again, look at the history in the last decade of the Florida teams, the big three. Miami, Florida, Florida State have underperformed over the last decade.
Consistently.
Yet everybody still wants to give them the benefit of the doubt because of the history before the last 10 years.
But you have got to consider the recent history in this. You cannot go back 20 years.
And that's why I don't think even with Utah missing their quarterback, Florida can go to Utah and beat them. And I do not think, even at home, Florida State can beat a vastly superior LSU team.
Completely agree.
But there is one dissenter.
It's Doug.
There's a shocker. There's a shocker. Oh, and when we get to our...
And I can almost pencil in Mrs. C. Going anti-Kelly. That would be my guess when she turns it in.
Mrs. C voting with her heart instead of her head?
I know.
What?
I know.
What? Remind me when we get
She could surprise me. You never know.
When we get to our season predictions. Doug's slate. You'll love this.
Oh, God help us.
All right. Speaking of which, so you got your 6 picks for week 1. Dave's probably ecstatic because he's going, is Kev really going to cut down on the games this year? Only 6 games in week 1?
Yeah, no. He's going to go nutsy crazy. He's going to get pissed off and overpick as he always does, and then bitch and complain about having to compile all the picks as they come in. Because he does it to himself and there's no excuse.
That should probably be the first page of my biography. that right there, word for word, should be the first page of my biography. He does it to himself, and he bitches and pisses and moans about it. But we'll see. What, 400 last year I think I hit for the first time ever?
God, yes. So much for a kinder, gentler pick.
So what am I shooting for, 405 this year?
No.
410?
375.
I think we're going to be down. I think last year was an aberration. I do. All right, so now the prediction time. I kept the Heisman stuff out this year. We've done it in years past. I'm not going to do the Heisman predictions. No. We'll have enough tiebreakers with the NFL stuff next week combined with...
Yep. But before we get to these, the caveat on our picks, we just don't do ranked team versus ranked team, because there could be a monster point spread. A 10-point spread rule has been implemented.
Yeah, we're in our 3rd year, I believe.
Yes,
of that,
and it makes it challenging, kids.
Yeah, and that's why we only had the 6 games this week. The Big Blue W hates it because a lot of times that means rivalry week. We do not do a lot of the games that he would want us to do. I don't have a problem with the 10-point spread. I do think it makes it a little more challenging, a little bit tougher, and I'm fine with that. I mean,
we don't have our flirting with 70% picks.
It's usually the SEC games. It's usually the Georgia-Arkansas game or the Alabama-Texas A&M game where Alabama or Georgia are in the top 5 and Arkansas and Texas A&M are in the top 25.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's going to be an enticing game, and you see the point spread ends up being 20, 22 points.
Yeah.
So we're not picking the games, even though we like to pick games where there's 2 ranked teams involved. It's still not assured to be a great game.
Right.
All right, our predictions for the last year. The 4 playoff teams. Now, who knows? Next year we still might do the final 4.
I think we can't go all 12.
No.
I think we need to wrap it down to the final 4 and the champ.
But at least for this year, this is the last year for NCAA football where we're doing 4.
Right.
They're doing 4, we're doing 4. Let's put it that way. Next year they're doing 12, we still might do 4.
That's up for discussion at our first of the year meeting.
Yep. All right, so no surprise to anybody out there. 7 of the 8 picks are in. Everybody has Georgia among their final 4. Now things get a little interesting, so we'll go participant by participant.
Yep. Go ahead.
And Dave and I are a lot closer than I thought we'd be, except for the national champion. We both have Georgia. We both have USC. The only 2, shockingly, of the panel who have USC Trojans in the Final 4. I have LSU. Dave has Bama. That's the big difference there. We both have Ohio State. We both believe Michigan. Karma's got to kick him in the ass at some point in time with all the bullshit he's pulled.
Yeah.
And now he's got the suspension.
That team is going to implode.
I don't think they're going to implode, but they're not going to be good enough to make the Final Four.
All right. Then we'll save the champions to run across at the end.
Oh, look at you.
Let's let the kids wait for it. All right. Then we've got Sam, of course, Georgia, Clemson, Alabama, and Notre Dame.
Homer. All right. The Big Blue W has Georgia, Michigan, Alabama, Ohio State. He's got 2 from the Big Ten. All right.
There you go. All right. Then we move on. Nick, Georgia, Clemson, LSU, Ohio State.
Doug. when Doug, it's not the fact that his picks are bad. It's not, but he must have been really distracted when he typed Alabama because I got Georgia, Penn State, Alabama.
Alabama?
Yeah, Alabama, and then I got Notre Dame.
All right, then Aaron, Georgia, Clemson, Alabama, Michigan.
I'm not saying any of that is really daring. Or Penn State from Doug is probably the most daring pick, I would say, of all of them.
Definitely.
But now we move on to the championship picks. I've got Georgia.
I took USC.
And then Sam, Bill, Nick, and Aaron all have Georgia, but Doug.
Doug, being Doug, Notre Dame.
And I know the homer picks are going to happen. I get it. But you're telling me that Notre Dame is going to beat 2 out of 3 when it comes to Ohio State, USC, and Clemson. I'm not buying that. I think you can't have 2 losses and make the Final Four. I don't believe that. And I don't see Notre Dame winning 2 of those 3 games. I just don't.
It's going to be really difficult.
So there you go, kids. There are our picks and predictions for NCAA college football week 1 and for the entire season. Check out the Facebook page tomorrow, and Mrs. C's picks will join ours. You can look at them, reference them as you make your picks with your friends and beat them into a bloody pulp because you listen to the experts on Sports Frenzy 2.0. Now, moving on to headlines and news. Of course, the aforementioned Notre Dame beat Navy 42-3 overseas in Ireland. I don't care. I really, really don't care. The only thing I'll say is that at least for once, they did not play down to the level of their competition.
No, that was an improvement. That
was
impressive. Usually they play it close.
Last year we saw Marshall, we saw Stanford, 2 teams they should have beaten handily.
Upset them.
Right. Now, before we move on to the pros, is college football's future not on the television screen, not in the stadiums? Is it in the movie theater?
Oh, God.
ESPN has made a deal with Cinemark, expanding on a previous commitment they made where they broadcast, I guess, some of the championship games or the semifinal games in theaters last season. 75 ACC games for the away markets will be available in your local Cinemark movie theater. So if I wanted to go see the Hurricanes play at Georgia Tech, if I lived down there in Miami, I could go to the Cinemark and see the game.
But would you want to watch it in a theater, or would you rather just get together with your buddies?
I don't think there's an easy answer. That's the problem. I don't think there's an easy answer. It depends on the consumer. I mean, people, to my tastes, the fact that people watch shit on a phone drives me crazy. Anything, sports, movies, TV shows, it's a little fucking screen. It is not giving you any kind of an experience whatsoever.
No.
But people do it. People enjoy it. Maybe people want to go to the
Maybe they want
theater.
to go and watch it with a big group on the big screen in the dark.
I used to go to see the WWE WrestleMania when I was in college over at Notre Dame's ACC. Closed circuit TV. Paid for a ticket to see that one year. Macho Man versus Hulk Hogan. So, who knows?
Who knows?
Look at how many times
works.
during these broadcasts they check into the home market, and everybody who couldn't get tickets is sitting in an arena somewhere watching the game on a TV monitor in the basketball arena or at the football stadium.
That is fine because that's the venue for it.
But again,
whatever
with everybody
works.
cutting the cord, with all these weird
If you're
sports
going to go
deals being made,
streaming and all that bullshit,
right?
But how much are they charging?
The article that I read said that the price is up to the discretion of the individual theaters.
Yeah, so you're probably, for one game to go to the theater, you could pay for a year on the streaming service.
Well, with the ACC, after this year, right, it's going to be on the CW.
Right.
So it's going to be free. Just saying. People are getting fed up. I know people are getting fed up with having to search, especially with like Major League Baseball. Is it going to be on MLB Network? Is it going to be on Fox? Is it going to be on TBS? Is it going to be on Apple? Is it going to be on Amazon?
Who the frick
is it going to be on
damn
Peacock?
game?
People are getting tired of having to find their team on these 7 or 8 options that now
it's freaking stupid,
Rob
ridiculous.
Manfred and his genius brain trust think are not fracturing the fan base. And you know me, I am not paying for Marquee Network.
Oh, hell no, they want too damn much for it.
I will listen to the Cubs on 1019 Rocks out of Wabash. And I'll be fine and happy with that. And then get my rock and roll after and before the game. And they don't do the post game. The game ends, boom, back into the rock and roll.
Beautiful.
Back into the rock and roll. The game ends, it's over.
And it's not your typical rock. This station plays deep cuts.
We love it.
It is
so much.
Awesome. It is the best station ever.
Every time we go down to a concert outside of Indianapolis, we pick it up for about an hour.
1019 Rocks.
And you can listen to it online. Out of Wabash, kids. Wabash, Indiana. It is awesome. It is old school rock and roll, deep cuts, rarities.
Oh,
they will once in a while get into a rut.
They'll give you
especially when they let you people pick the songs. Request. No. Let the DJs pick the songs. Works so much better. Let the people who know the music
late night run
the
coming back from Indy, in that hour that we have them, we might get one of the songs that is overplayed. Everything else
on regular classic rock radio.
Right. Yeah. Everything else is, holy crap, we never get to hear this. Damn, they went there.
Yep.
I mean, it's beautiful.
Absolutely fantastic. All right, moving on to the NFL. Next week will be our preview for week 1 of the NFL and the season. Our picks for the AFC, NFC champs.
Super Bowl.
And, of course, MVP picks as well. And our picks for week 1. Shocking trade? I don't know. You figured San Francisco was going to figure out a way to ditch Trey Lance after committing to Brock Purdy and naming Sam Darnold their number 2 quarterback. So,
who was the sucker? I mean, who was the lucky team?
Well, when you say sucker in the NFL, who do you think of first?
The Dallas Cowboys.
And one Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is the one who trades a 4th-round pick to San Francisco. Now, granted, it's still a huge loss for San Francisco in terms of what they gave up a few years ago to get Trey Lance in the draft. But to me, to get a 4th-round pick back for him right now is probably a pretty good haul.
Oh, absolutely.
Cut your losses, Admit the fact you made a mistake.
You recognize the mistake, and lo and behold, who would have ever thought Mr. Irrelevant would have taken over the starting role from a first-round pick?
And I'm telling you what, right now, I guarantee, just like when Tom Brady early on in his career, 6th-round pick, took over the Patriots, everybody's rooting for Brock Purdy.
Absolutely.
Everybody's rooting for him. Because, again, guy who was given little, if any, chance to succeed. As you said, Mr. Irrelevant in the draft.
And he took the opportunity given to him and ran with it.
And that might be why the Chicago Bears cut not only Nathan Peterman, but P.J. Walker.
A $2 million signing down the toilet. Peterman had to go. He was just abysmal. But Walker, he never showed up in preseason games. He lost the backup job. Lost it.
He lost the backup job, but because the Bears front office is, again, I always think of the immortal words of The Who. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. Same stupid decisions. Let's give P.J. Walker a 2-year deal with over $2 million guaranteed, and then never let him play a regular season game for the team.
Because he looked like crap.
I get it, but man, flushing money down the goddamn toilet. That's on polls.
It is.
He has
Absolutely.
got to have known this guy wasn't that good.
That was poor scouting.
Because now your D2 phenom, which we mentioned last week, Tyson Bagent, is now your backup quarterback.
Yeah, but he's got the most unfortunate nickname. They call him Teabag. The only thing I can say is that at least he didn't play for Northwestern.
So hopefully Justin Fields stays healthy. Let's put it that way. At least until this kid gets some more reps in practice and gets more comfortable.
But he looked good when he played.
I saw him throw a really bad pick. I saw him throw a
the
really
bad pick after the wide open receiver dropped a pass.
True.
So that never should have come into play.
Yeah, but you can't do that.
But you can't do that. That's a rookie mistake.
Yeah. He threw a really bad pick after, missing on the long pass. Not his fault.
No, it was right there.
But
the receiver just flat dropped it. You can't come back.
That's like, the whole Flash thing, which we'll talk about on the weekend edition. One of the most contentious movie reviews we will ever have on the weekend
I don't know
edition.
about that. We've had some pretty contentious reviews.
We'll think about it because I don't know. What movie? We'll think about what movie has polarized us the most in terms of one that either I loved, you hated, or you loved and I hated. We'll think about it. We got time. But for now, we're going to break here. We still got a couple more NFL tidbits to talk about, but we need more time. And that's fine because we've got plenty of time in the third segment. So let's just relax.
It's all good.
As Aaron Rodgers says, relax.
Do a shot of ayahuasca, you'll be fine.
I can't wait until
Don't poke the bear. Don't poke the bear.
Until the Buffalo Bills defense crushes him. Crushes him! And all these idiot New York fans, we're going to win the Super Bowl. Have you watched Hard Knocks? He's a leader. He's such a great guy.
He's a douchebag. He is not a great leader.
You are going to find out about reality the hard way. And you're going to find out why Green Bay fans are pretty much happy that Aaron Rodgers is gone.
Yep.
I can't wait after the Bills crush the Jets in week 1. I hope Josh Allen walks over to him and goes, I own you. I would love to see that.
That would be a beautiful thing.
For all us Bears fans out there. But Dave and I have one final segment here left, Sports Frenzy 2.0.
We'll be back after this brief break.
Are you having trouble falling asleep behind the wheel of your expensive SUV? Are you finding difficulty in avoiding golf clubs thrown at you by your angry wife as you pull out of the driveway? Sign up today for the Tiger Woods Driving School, sponsored by Sports Frenzy 2.0. We'll show you how to text ladies of the night while still driving effectively in the wee hours of the morning. We'll also teach you how to ditch a suspicious backpack when you end up driving into a ditch. Check out Sports Frenzy 2.0 on Spotify, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Casts, wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, for updates on our latest classes, including how to curse and swear in front of uptight golf fans and their children and still be adored by millions. The Tiger Woods Driving School. It's great. All right, kids, third and final segment here, Sports Frenzy 2.0, your weekly dose of politically incorrect sports commentary. He's a conquistador, Dave Height.
He's the maestro, Kevin Crane.
Taping August the 30th, 2023. This will hit the last day of August. Dare I say the last day of summer?
No, the last day of summer isn't until mid-September, damn it!
Bullshit.
Go with the calendar.
June, July, August, that's summer. September, October, November, fall. December, January, February, winter. March, April, May, spring.
Whatever. I'm not giving it up yet, damn it.
Well, considering the fact that we're supposed to be in the 90s the first weekend of September as we go see Smashing Pumpkins.
There we go.
Yeah.
What would be different from the last few weeks of concerts?
Yes. Yeah. Getting pelted by beer and
twerks.
You people need to learn concert etiquette. But that's a tale for
the weekend edition.
Yes. Let's wrap up our NFL news of the week. Still got a couple very interesting things, especially relevant to fantasy football. As you know, we are very big on fantasy football here. We have a league for Sports Frenzy. And I would like to personally thank the Big Blue W for dumping James Cook and letting me pick him up so I could get my fourth running back on my roster. Now I feel good about my team. Now, even though I already had the best draft.
Yeah, we'll see.
Now I have four solid running backs. I feel great about my team. Joe Burrow back at practice. Now I feel great about my team.
Yep. And poor Jonathan Taylor could not get out of Indianapolis. No trade came through, so he's still on the PUP list.
Which will mean this is the fantasy football implication for all of you who drafted him. If you haven't done your draft yet, obviously you're okay. But a lot of people have already drafted. Jonathan Taylor on the PUP list means he will miss the first 4 weeks of the regular season.
Yep. Ouch.
So I don't know if you want to gamble on somebody on that roster.
Do you have an IR slot? I don't know.
But that team is going to be contending for the worst record in football as Anthony Richardson tries to learn the game.
Yep.
Now, that's the thing, though. The Colts obviously aren't going to be drafted. This could be like a Bears situation.
This could be, yeah.
If the Colts end up with the worst record in the NFL this year.
They think they have their quarterback of the future.
They could trade
down
and get a haul like the Bears did.
Yep.
Because the Bears had Justin Fields, didn't need the first pick. Could that happen with the Colts? Caleb Williams, of course, right now, the consensus number 1 pick for the 2024 draft, the quarterback out of USC. We shall see how that plays out. But yes, poor Jonathan Taylor. I do feel bad for him. He's had one great year. He has got injury issues.
He's injured. He's hurt.
Yeah.
Now, how much of it is he's actually hurt and struggling to recover versus pissed off at the Colts for not working with him and all of Irsay's comments? That's where you got to walk the line in there. Yep. If he would have been traded, would he have been ready to go?
Well, we saw seen this with Dalvin Cook. We mentioned him at the end of the last segment. Dalvin Cook, of course, the Vikings said, see ya, don't want to re-sign you. Figure out what you're going to do with your life, but it's not going to be here in Minnesota. And he sat out there for weeks.
Yeah.
Until the Jets finally picked him up, and he hasn't played for them yet.
Nope, not yet. And now the Vikings just signed my former Miami running back, Gaskins.
Yeah, but I still think it's Madison.
Madison should be their lead back. They cut somebody, but Gaskins got to be the backup. He never
I think they've
developed.
got a younger kid as the backup. I think Gaskins
is like the third.
Yeah.
That's all he is. He was a disaster in Miami. He never lived up to what he was supposed to be.
I drafted him one year thinking he was going to be the next. And they're saying, what have I been saying to you? Devon Achane is going to be that stud running back. Just like I said with Myles Gaskin. But
could they finally, maybe after all these decades, finally have a top running back?
But you don't know between hits on the bong what your head coach is thinking in terms of his running back depth chart. At least he knows who his top two receivers are.
Right.
That's not changing.
But
changing. His running back, is it Jeff Wilson? Is it Raheem Mostert? Is it Achane? Kind of stuff that drives fantasy football managers insane. But we're not done yet. Now, on the good side for Mrs. C, because I believe she was the one that gambled again on Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs did sign his one-year deal with the Raiders for $12 million. So like Saquon Barkley, he conceded.
He said, fine.
He said, I'll play a year for you guys, and then I'm out.
Yep, this is it. I'm playing my way into a deal. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see if the teams screw them over on carries.
Well, also the thing I wonder about with the Raiders, the Giants, you're looking at basically the same team. From last year to this year, Daniel Jones, same head coach, same system. With the Raiders now, you go from Derek Carr to Jimmy Garoppolo. I think Derek Carr is so ridiculously undervalued because I think the Saints, number one, are going to win that division. And
Carr is the quarterback they needed.
I can see Carr being a sleeper fantasy stud. But he opens up the offense enough where the running game can flow.
Right. Once Kamara gets
I don't know if Garoppolo can do that
for Jacobs.
With Jacobs under Josh McDaniel. I just don't know if I don't think he'll have as good of a year as last year. Let's put it that way.
Right.
That was a stellar career year for Josh Jacobs. He thought he was going to get paid. He didn't. Little bit of disenchantment, disappointment setting in. And then going back to the PUP list, we talked about Jonathan Taylor. And we talked about how he's on the PUP list for the first 4 weeks of the season. Now, this one's no surprise, but we talk about the Colts possibly tanking. How about those Cardinals out in Arizona?
God.
Kyler Murray will be on the PUP list to start the season.
Yep, that is a team that should be playing for the first-round pick for a new quarterback.
And I think they are, because putting Kyler Murray on the PUP list for the first 4 weeks and then releasing Colt McCoy. So right now, Arizona Cardinals fans, you are looking at either Joshua Dobbs or Clayton, name that tune, as your starting quarterback. Good luck with that. Good luck with that.
What was it, the old Edward R. Murrow? Good night and good luck.
Yeah. No, the Cardinals are going to be bad.
They're going to be epically bad.
Kyler Murray better start thinking about getting in there
after the Cardinals.
Getting in there the second half of the season and playing well and doing basically an audition for another team. He'll get another shot. He will get another shot. One more.
One.
Just like Baker Mayfield got. He'll get 1. All right, moving on to golf.
4.
Congratulations to Victor Hovland. Probably now at the top of the list of guys who should win a major who haven't. As Victor Hovland wins the Tour Championship, wins the FedEx Cup, and gets a nice, tidy little paycheck for $18 million.
You know, I like this. This is good. Not one of the big names. Rory pissed that away by sitting out how many tournaments?
He still finished 4th, I think,
Yeah.
when all was said and done.
But still, he took himself out of it. So, good for this kid. I hope nothing but success for him down the road.
Yeah, now the next thing, obviously, as I mentioned, he's got to win a major.
He does.
That's going to cement his legacy. Now he's got the money. Now he needs history on his side.
Don't turn into another Ricky Fowler.
There you go. That's exactly the name I was thinking of. Exactly.
Do not be a Ricky Fowler.
Now, controversial pick as the Ryder Cup teams are finalized. Rumors were speculating, percolating. Are they going to pick somebody from Live Golf for the American Ryder Cup team? Zach Johnson did.
He had the balls. Good for him.
Brooks Koepka.
Brooksy
will be on the U.S. Ryder Cup team.
I like it.
Wouldn't it be awesome if he ends up with a showdown at some point with one Rory McIlroy?
And shoves the 9-iron up Rory's ass.
Yep. So, eventually these kids are going to have to learn how to play together now with the big deal, the mega deal.
That's right.
Between the PGA and Live Golf, so they need to put that crap aside.
Suck it up, buttercups.
Little League Baseball World Series. Like to give a little bit of a nod, a little bit of a shout out to the kids. El Segundo out in California wins the Little League World Series over Curacao. Say it right, kids.
Curacao.
Curacao. Not Curacao.
Curacao.
Curacao. With the little tiny,
little
that genital hair twist underneath it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Curacao. So, congrats to El Segundo. Despite the fact you're out in California, you're still representing America somehow.
That's right. It's as close as you're going to get to the Chico's bail bond Bears.
Breaking training! Where's Tony Curtis?
Tanner.
All right, Dave has your moment of silence in the world of sports.
Yep. Pat Corrales, after playing 9 seasons in the majors, the first Mexican-American Major League Baseball manager for the Rangers, Phillies, and Indians, has passed away. Thoughts and prayers to his family and friends.
Yeah, we're pretty light for dumbasses this week, believe it or not, in the sports world. So
we kind of covered them with those idiots running onto the field.
Yeah, that could have been.
And the stupid fat twit in Chicago with the gun in her fat folds.
Yeah. Where's Lizzo when you need her to fat shame somebody? We should talk about the NBA news of the week. I did miss out on that. So let's get that real quick since we've got plenty of time. Of course, this is a guy I learned to appreciate more, even though I did think he was a little bit of a ball hog. It's hard to deny the fact that I'll take him over LeBron James. Let's put it that way. Kobe Bryant will get a statue unveiled outside whatever the crypto crap currency stadium, whatever they have.
The old Forum, whatever the hell it is.
Staples Center.
The Staples
Center is how I remember it. Kobe Bryant will get a statue outside the old Staples Center.
He deserves one. He was a good player.
On February the 8th of 2024. Yeah, like I said, I gained more respect for him over the years.
Yeah, as his career went on, he was not a selfish guy.
It looked like he was, but he wasn't.
It looked like he was, but he played for the team, and he was like Jordan, where he says, give me the ball to put it away.
Yep. So like I said, I have learned to appreciate Kobe Bryant more. I will not ignore his indiscretions, as we made fun of him back then.
Yeah.
And
rightly so.
Poster child for a lot of the things that still happen among professional athletes
that
in terms
shouldn't.
of cheating on the wives, and he just didn't get the 4-iron upside his head like Tiger Woods did. But yes, Kobe Bryant definitely deserves a statue. That will be unveiled February the 8th of 2024. And good news for LeBron James' son, Bronny James, despite the fact he has been diagnosed with a congenital heart defect.
It's something that can be treated.
And they're saying he will be back on the court sooner rather than later. So
they said it's not insignificant, but something that can be treated. Let's hope they're making the right decision for his health going forward.
Yes. Yeah, I would hope they're not pushing him
because
to go back onto the court.
We've seen too many kids.
A chance.
We've seen too many kids that don't make it as a result.
Yeah. And I know that hits home with you. So I do not want them to push him out there for the sake of his father's legacy. Right. And I'm not saying they are. Some people think because I hate LeBron James, I wish ill on Bronny.
That is not true. No, we want the best for his health. His health is paramount.
Yes. No, he is not on the plane of doom. He's not sitting next to Stephen Colbert and Whoopi Goldberg and Joe Biden.
No.
Okay.
We hope nothing but the best for Bronny.
Yep. All right, our one dumbass of the week. Again, shocking. This is a rarity. We're going to kind of straddle the line here between the weekend edition.
He said straddle.
See, I just had an awful thought in my head because we were just talking about Lizzo, straddling Lizzo. I just... Yeah, little Kev just went into hiding.
Not while I'm drinking.
But this could have gone to the weekend edition, but let's pull this one over to the sports edition. Kevin Hart.
Kevin.
In a wheelchair after getting into a trash-talking match with former NFL running back Stephen Ridley.
Kevin Hart, supposedly a fast guy.
Looks like he's in good shape.
What was his quote? This is what you get for doing stupid shit. Respect your age.
Yeah, I'm old.
He's 44.
Tore a whole bunch of stuff.
Tore his abdominal muscles. Tore his hip abductors, which is why he's in a wheelchair. He can't walk until everything heals up. Dude, do you not stretch? That's the key. You should have stretched. You can't just do this shit cold anymore, dude.
And I'll admit, I have not watched any of Kevin Hart's stand-up. He seems to me like a nice guy, but I hear a lot of negatives too. I hear in real life he's kind of a douche. He's entitled, doesn't treat people who wait on him at restaurants well. Whatever. I can't judge him on that because I have never seen that behavior personally. Seems like he's down to earth to me.
Yeah.
I'll take him for what he's worth. He made a bad mistake.
He made a bad decision.
Let his mouth do the talking.
Yep. So that being said,
for a check that his hip abductors couldn't cash.
So that being said, is that how we're going to decide picking our fantasy draft
I saw
next
Mrs.
year?
C wants to do that. Yeah,
the 40-yard dash.
No. We will do random draw. If you want to come up with something else, that's fine. But it's not going to be that. Who can eat the most oysters in a 30-second span?
Oh, God, I'm out, Jerry.
But, I am not doing a 40-yard dash to decide the
I would.
Number one, of course you would. Yes, you would. See, and everybody mocked me. I had the choice between the 2 and the 7. And everybody mocked me for taking the 7. I got rewarded the best draft grade by Yahoo. And because Bill panicked right away and dumped James Cook and Dak Prescott, I don't know why. Nick got Dak Prescott as his backup, and I got James Cook as my arguably 3rd or 4th running back.
Oh, there you go.
Because I had the higher waiver priority, picking 7th. Once again, you underestimate this little pea brain of the maestro. I know what I'm doing. I do. 14% of the time, I know what I'm doing. And on that note,
he got lucky, kids.
Yeah, I get lucky all the time when it comes to the plate of greatness. Much more so than in real life.
Which would you rather have, kids?
Little weekend edition preview for you. I got hit in the crotch at the Offspring concert. And I told these guys that was the most action I've had in 10 years.
Wow.
So I didn't know how to handle it. Should I enjoy it? Should I be upset? Or should I just listen to the Offspring and enjoy it? And that is going to be on the weekend edition, along with our usual wrap-ups of our favorite TV shows. We will review The Flash.
Where are you on your book?
Next week.
All
next Wednesday, we will review.
I was prepared for tonight, just in case.
I will be ready next week. Next week, Flags on the Bayou. The latest from the great, arguably the best writer in America, if not the world,
today.
James Lee Burke. Next week, that will be our featured book review. We will talk about new music from Rival Sons. We will have the new GNR for review.
Alice Cooper's new album.
No, I didn't think we were doing that this week.
I thought we were.
No, I thought you said we'll hold off on that.
Oh, well, I'm ready if you aren't.
No, I'm not.
All right, then that will be next week,
No,
kids.
It will not be next week because we have another album review next week. Because we have to prepare for Smashing Pumpkins.
So you are not going to make us do Autumn 3.
Yes, we have to. We have to be ready for the concert, Dave.
God, you're killing me.
We have to be ready for the concert.
Oh.
And then Alice will be after that.
All right,
I thought that's what we agreed to. Anyway, don't forget to check out the weekend edition. Always fun. Your Saturday morning hangover cure with your Uncle Dave.
And your Uncle Kev.
So, we hope you enjoyed your weekly dose, again, of politically incorrect sports commentary.
We'll talk to you next Thursday. Make sure you're here Saturday morning.
Peace out.